वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचानूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णो वन्दे जगद्गुरुं श्रीकृष्णो वन्दे जगद्गुरुम् ॐ श्रीकृष्णार्पणमस्तु. Pranams from Dr. R.J. Kalpana. Welcome to the study of the Bhagavad Gita. In this session, we will commence our study of the last and final chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 18, MokshaSannyasaYoga, the yoga of liberation through renunciation. In the previous chapter, Krishna has spoken at great length about sacrifice, austerity, and charity. Yajnaha, tapasyaha, danam. Right? And he has spoken about how the nature of people determine the kind of austerities, the sacrifices, the charitable acts, and the penance, the austerity that they undertake. So let's look at this chapter where Krishna talks about the necessity of renunciation in order to achieve liberation. We have to let go of our samskaras before we can ascend to the higher celestial realms of the Brahmanda Mandal, the Parabrahmanda Mandal, etc. Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha. Srimad Bhagavad Gita Atha Ashtadashodhyayaha MokshaSannyasaYoga, the yoga of liberation through renunciation. Sloka 1. Arjuna said, O mighty armed Shri Krishna, inner controller of all, slayer of Keshi, I wish to know severally the truth of sannyasa and tyaga. So here Krishna is requested to explain the truth about samanyasa and tyaga, the difference between the two, and in what context are they generally used. Shloka 2. Sri Bhagavan said, some sages understand sannyasa as the giving up of all actions motivated by desire, and other thinkers declare that tyaga consists in relinquishing the fruit of all actions. So here Krishna cites the diverse points of view of other people on the subject of sannyasa and tyaga. So he says that there are sages who understand that sannyasa is to give up all of those actions which are generated from desires and temptations. And then of course there are the other type of thinkers who declare that tyaga or sacrifice means to sacrifice the fruit of actions. Any action that we undertake, the results of it has to be sacrificed, or rather offered to the divine. Now, Let us understand Kamyanam Karmanam, what it actually means. To understand karma. Now we have different categories of karma. There is Nitya Karma, which means the act of doing actions on a daily basis, like sleeping, cooking, bathing, Sandhya Vandana, pujas, etc. There is Naimitya Karma, actions carried out for very specific reasons, like Janmashtami, Ramanavami, etc., where certain types of pujas are performed. And then there are Niyata Karmas, which are occupational duties, the duties of a doctor, a soldier. There is Kamya Karma, to fulfill desires. You undertake certain pujas, certain yajnas, because we have a desire that requires to be fulfilled. Satyanarayana Puja, right? Whatever wish we have, we undertake Satyanarayana Puja. Putra Kameshti Yajna, to have a child for our lineage. Nishidha Karma, karmas which should not be done, actions which should never be undertaken, robbery, violence, undesirable actions. Prayashchitta Karma, karmas, actions which are undertaken to seek atonement of actions that have already been done, right? To seek forgiveness, to rectify mistakes. So Krishna here talks about how actions are motivated by desires, temptations, and how the fruit of all actions will have to be relinquished. Shloka 3. Some wise men declare that all actions contain a measure of evil and are therefore worth giving up, while others say that acts of sacrifice, charity, and penance are not worth shunning. So now Krishna is presenting two sides of the same coin and saying that, of course, there are certain types of people who declare that all actions have the seed of evil or the seed of adharma present in them, right? That all actions contain some default in them, no matter how well thought out, how well intentioned it might be. So therefore, give up all actions, retire from the world itself, take refuge in the forest, in the Himalayas, lead a solitary existence, while the others say that acts of sacrifice, charity, and penance, they are necessary pillars of one's existence, and therefore they should not be shunned. They should be actively undertaken and performed. Now, Shloka 4. Of sannyasa and tyaga, first hear my conclusion on the subject of tyaga, Arjuna. For tyaga, O tiger among men, has been declared to be of three kinds: sattvika, rajasika, and tamasika. So here Krishna addresses Arjuna and says that I will first talk about tyaga. I'm not going to address sannyasa right now, but let us understand the true nature of tyaga. In Shloka 5, Krishna says, acts of sacrifice, charity, and penance are not worth giving up. They must be performed. For sacrifice, charity, and penance, all these are purifiers of wise men. So here Krishna brings in a new perspective when he says yajnaha, tapasya, danam, they are all necessity. Why are they so necessary? They're necessary because they're purificatory rituals. They involve a degree of purification of the subtle body, of the samskaras that we have burdened ourselves with. So, given the act, undertake it with the right intent and perform it with a clear understanding that these are purifiers. Use them. Use that very action that we have to perform and emerge from that action pure. Shloka 6. Hence these acts of sacrifice, charity and penance and all other acts too must be performed without attachment and hope of reward. This is my considered and supreme verdict, Arjuna. And therefore Krishna says that I declare that yajnaha, tapasya, danam and all the other acts in this manner must be performed, but without attachment and without any expectations of rewards. Do it because they are your prescribed duty. So, having expressed his opinion in the matter, Krishna now defines the three types of tyaga. And he points out the sattvika, rajasika and the tamasika nature, or how they approach tyaga. Shloka 7. Prohibited acts and those that are motivated by desire should no doubt be given up, but it is not advisable to abandon a prescribed duty. Its abandonment through ignorance has been declared as tamasika. So here Krishna says that acts which are motivated by desire, by selfish greed, should not be indulged in. They should be shunned because they come under the prohibited actions. Also, it is not advised to give up on a prescribed duty. If the duty is prescribed in the Veda Shastras, that you will have to undergo such a duty, then you should. Because if you abandon it through ignorance, you are termed tamasika. Shloka 8. Should anyone give up his duties for fear of physical strain, thinking that all action is verily of the nature of discomfort, practicing such a rajasika form of renunciation, he reaps not the fruit of renunciation. So therefore Krishna says that to give up one's prescribed, ordained duty which is present in the Veda Shastras merely because there is a certain degree of physical discomfort involved in carrying out the prescribed duty, and therefore giving up such actions is not termed as tyaga or renunciation, because it is the rajasika type of renunciation, because it has the undercurrent of selfishness, and therefore that person will not be able to benefit from the results of this type of tyaga. Generally, it is said that people go to Kashi when they are going not as tourists but for a spiritual reason, but when they go there as a spiritual reason, they are advised to give up something, to sacrifice, to do tyaga. And therefore, people give up things, right? Some people say, I gave up eating carrots. Now, let us understand a simple act of Tyaga. You have renounced something because there is a prescribed duty that in the Shastras, you go to Kashi, then you have to give up something. So, okay, I'm giving up eating carrots. But is that Tyaga? Is that a sacrifice? We must ask ourselves. If the fact that we never enjoyed eating carrots, we are allergic to eating carrots, or that we don't like eating carrots and therefore carrots is hardly part of our daily diet. So under those circumstances, if we give up, is that a sacrifice? Is that Tyaga? Or are we merely fooling ourselves? We are undertaking an action, but without any real consequences of that action, without fulfilling the intent and purpose of said action. To sacrifice something, to Tyaga, to give up something, is to give up something that you own dear to yourself. That is sacrifice. To give up something which is not even in the periphery of our consciousness, which is not even present in our daily living, is not sacrifice. It is throwing away unwanted objects, throwing away unwanted things, ideas. To give up something which we hold dear to ourselves, that is the true spirit of sacrifice, of Tyaga. Shloka 9. A prescribed duty which is performed simply because it has to be performed, giving up attachment and fruit, that alone has been recognized as the sattvika form of renunciation. So here Tyaga is now further classified or further defined by Krishna as that a duty which is prescribed by the Shastras, which has to be undertaken and performed, but without any real attachment to the duty or to the results of that action. That is the highest form of action. That is the highest sattvika type of Tyaga that can be undertaken. Shloka 10. He who neither hates action which does not bring lasting happiness, nor does he get attached to that which is conducive to blessedness, imbued with the quality of goodness, he has all his doubts resolved, is intelligent and a man of true renunciation. So here Krishna talks about the quality of a man of sacrifice, that he does not, even if those actions that need to be performed does not bring him any great joy or pleasure, but no doubt, nevertheless, he still has to perform those jobs or those duties. He goes about undeterred and performs his duty in a matter-of-fact manner without any undue attachment or undue hatred to lasting happiness or blessedness. So that is because he is already imbued with the quality of goodness. So that is the man of a true, that is the quality of a true Tyagi. Shloka 11. Since all actions cannot be given up in their entirety, by anyone possessing a body, he alone who renounces the fruit of actions is called a man of renunciation. So here Krishna talks about that all actions cannot be given up arbitrarily, right? We still have to live and function in society. There are karmendriyas, actions which have to be undertaken by the physical body to keep it alive. And therefore, all that a man of sacrifice can do is renounce the fruits of all actions, but nevertheless undertake the actions in a disinterested, in a non-attached manner. Shloka 12. Welcome, unwelcome, and mixed, threefold indeed is the fruit that accrues hereafter from the actions of the unrenouncing, but there is none ever for those who have renounced. So, there are three types of results for those who have a vested interest in their actions. The results are welcomed, the results are not welcomed, and the results are mixed, right? Whereas for somebody who has given up, who has no expectations whatsoever, there is no value judgment attached to the results of those actions. Shloka 13. In the branch of learning known by the name of Sankhya, which prescribes means for neutralizing all actions, these 5 factors have been mentioned as contributory to the accomplishment of all actions. Know them from me, Arjuna. Now, this is a throwback to chapter 2, Sankhya Yoga, the path of knowledge that Krishna has taught us. And there he says that how to neutralize all actions so there are no samskaras that are generated, and therefore it doesn't result in any bondage. It doesn't keep us tied to this world of matter, to this world of illusion. There are 5 types for neutralizing the effects of all actions. Shloka 14. The following are the factors operating towards the accomplishment of actions: the seat of action and the agent, the organs of different kinds, and the separate movements of divergent types. And the 5th is destiny. So here Krishna is talking about the seat of action, adhishthanam, meaning that which is the seat of all activity, which is the physical body and its agent. Then the various organs, the karmendriyas and the jnanendriyas. Then the different movements of divergent types, the inhalation, the exhalations, the tanmatras, right? And finally, the destiny, the karma, the prarabdha karma, the sanchita karma that we all, the samskaras that we all bring into this world, which are determinant of our current position. Shloka 15. These 5 are the contributory causes of whatever actions, right or wrong, man performs with the mind, speech, and body. So Krishna here says that these 5, the Panchabhutas, the Panchendriyas, the Panchatanmatras, the Panchakarmendriyas, the Panchajnanendriyas, Ahankara, Manas, Buddhi, they are all contributing to actions which are generated by the body, the mind, and the speech. Shloka 16. Notwithstanding this, however, he who having an impure mind regards the absolute taintless self alone as the doer, that man of perverse understanding does not view aright. So here Krishna now brings in another aspect and says that the ignorant man thinks that the causal body, the soul, the pure, immutable soul within is the doer, whereas on the contrary, it is the body, the mind, the senses which are responsible for all actions. The soul, the causal body, is Sakshi, as the Upanishads call it, the silent witness. Shloka 17. He whose mind is free from the sense of doership and whose reason is not tainted by worldly objects and activities does not really slay, even having slaughtered all these creatures, nor is bound by sin. And so here Krishna says that that person whose mind is free, or who does not take on the responsibility of doership and does not be motivated by ego, ahankara, and say, I have done this, I have achieved this, I am so and so, and whose mental faculty and ego is not tainted by materialism, that person is not bound by samskaras. That person is liberated. Shloka 18. The knower, knowledge, and the object of knowledge. These three motivate action. Even so, the doer, the organs, and the activity, these are the three constituents of action. So here Krishna, having established the non-doership of the self in order to expound the truth of samanyasa as he declared in Sankhya Yoga, Krishna now goes further to enumerate what constitutes action from the point of Sankhya Yoga. And therefore he says that it is threefold. There is the knower, there is the knowledge, and there is the object of that knowledge. The doer, the organs, and the action, the activity, these three constitute action. Shloka 19. In the branch of knowledge dealing with the gunas or modes of prakriti, knowledge and action, as well as the doer, have been declared to be of three kinds according to the guna which predominates in each. Hear them too duly from me. So here Krishna says that in that branch of knowledge, Gunasankhyena, the three modes of prakriti, sattvika, rajasika, tamasika, yes, Knowledge, action, and the doer have been declared to be of three kinds depending on the nature of the person, depending on their tendencies. They will naturally gravitate towards certain kind of activity. Om Yogesham Satchidanandam Vasudevam Rajapriyam Dharma Samstapakam Veeram Krishna Vande Jagat Gurum Shri Krishna Vande Jagat Gurum Om Shri Krishna Arpanamastu.